everyone, it's me, John, once again. I'm sorry for not being able to post last week's picks because of technical issues, but I think we'll be back this time. And joining me is Chris once again.
What's going on, everyone?
Yeah, and I understand, Chris, you're on a bit of a schedule today, so let's get right to the games.
All right, sounds good. So, obviously, the New York Giants are on a bye week, so that's one less New York team to talk about. But we still have the other New York team with the New York Jets coming off a nice win last week against Baltimore, a must-needed win, especially the way their season, could have gone if they would have lost that game. Would have been 1-6, but they're alive at 2-5, and now they go to Cleveland to take on the only winless team in the NFL left, the Cleveland Browns. Who do you got?
I'm gonna hate myself if I watch the game because these are two of the 5 worst teams in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns. Yes, we have to talk about the Browns again. Right, but here's the problem: the Jets aren't that much better, but the Jets actually have playmakers, and the Indians don't. So, with that, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say quickly the Jets are gonna win because they have the better coach and the better quarterback. What? The Browns are on a circus. 21-17 is the Jets, and by the way, I think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be a close game. I mean, like you said, though, we rarely say Ryan Fitzpatrick is the better quarterback than who he's going up against, but I think this week you have to say that. I mean, the Browns are just such a mess. Although, if they were to beat the Jets, I wouldn't be fully surprised.
Because the Browns are they're just terrible.
Yeah, they're bad. I think the Jets pull out a close win in Cleveland. I think the Browns have a good fight in them, but not enough. Jets 23, Browns 20.
Yeah, let's get rid of the Browns talk and get to the next game.
All right. This is one of the better games that we're going to see this week. The Green Bay Packers, they've had a nice little break after winning on Thursday night last week against the Bears, and they have a tough game this week going to Atlanta to take on a Falcons team that really, really basically choked the game away last week. Against the Chargers. So who do you got in this one?
Yeah, but seriously, the Falcons lose at home to the Chargers? A Chargers team that's blown double-digit leads most of the season? Granted, the Chargers did have that nice victory 2 weeks ago against the Broncos on primetime football, but I think when the Chargers win games, and we'll get to them after that in a little bit, But if a Falcons team defense is that bad, how the hell are you supposed to put up some stops against Aaron Rodgers and the suddenly resurgent Green Bay offense? They now have Jordy Nelson back. They have Rodgers, but again, as Adam Schein of NFL Network would say, it's Aaron Rodgers' world, and we're just living in it. Cheeseheads 35, Falcons 28.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a Packers team also that, for the most part this year, has not really looked like the normal Green Bay Packers do look. I mean, it's a team that has kind of struggled offensively a little bit, and obviously, I mean, the game you look to is that game where they got absolutely just outplayed in every facet of the game by the Cowboys 2 weeks ago, and that really, that put a damper on things here in Green Bay. But they had an easy comeback, not a comeback win. They had an easy win last week against the Bears, and I think that win's going to get them in a groove here. And when I look at the Falcons, I see a team that has potential, and they've shown it this year. But it's also a team that, I mean, when you look at the way they played against the Chargers, they had a big lead, they let their guard down. And in the NFL, you can't do that. And I think that falls on the coaching with Dan Quinn and some of the play calling. I mean, in overtime, going for it on 4th and 1, I thought they should have punted there, trusted the defense more. And the Falcons also comes down to, I like them offensively, but defensively they have some holes. And I think Green Bay is going to exploit that this week. I think in a close game, Rodgers goes to Atlanta and pulls the Packers off through with the win. Green Bay 31, Atlanta 28.
Yes, and both defenses have issues there. So let's get to another game.
All right, let's go to the Sunday Night Football game, and this is a big game.
Oh yes, it's gonna be a good game.
Big game in the NFC East, not only for these two teams, but also for the other two teams in the division.
And I think this is a big game for the NFC because
right.
Yeah, because the Cowboys are 5-1, the Eagles are 4-2. The winner of this game will be in first place by the end of Sunday night. But here's the thing. Dallas is coming off their bye week, and the Eagles, granted, we both of us did pick them to beat the Vikings, but I didn't know that Minnesota's offensive line didn't have depth. Watch Dallas's offensive line. The Eagles, I'm going to tell you this, the Philadelphia Eagles have no chance of beating the Cowboys on Sunday night. The Cowboys have the best offensive line. They're 5-1 without Tony Romo, who finally practiced today, according to Adam Schefter, and they have a rested defense. Deal with it, America. The Cowboys are the best team in the NFC. And by the way, the Cowboys win by double digits, 32-20.
Double digits. Oh wow! I mean,
the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC but let's take a look at the NFC for a moment. The Seattle and Arizona had the tie on Sunday night. You look at Atlanta losing. Minnesota lost its first game. The Giants look terrible in LA. The Redskins lost to the rebuilding since 1957 Detroit Lions. And I found one winner out of this week. And that one winner is the Dallas Cowboys, because by not playing football. If you just did not play football on Sunday, you're a winner.
I mean, when I look at this game, I see. Basically, I give the Eagles credit. Like you just said, we did have them beating Minnesota last week. And listen, the defense performed extremely well. I mean, I think
absolutely. I'll give Doug Peterson a lot of credit for exploiting their weaknesses, because if you have a banged up offensive line like Minnesota has against a 4-3 defense that was so 3-4 during the Chip Kelly days, you have one additional pass rusher to attack the quarterback, and that's why the Eagles' defense is so much better than it looked a year ago.
Right, and I mean, what they did against Minnesota last week, I mean, that was a complete demolishment. I mean, the Vikings couldn't get anything done. The one thing with the Eagles is that they have some pieces there, but they're not a complete team yet. I think offensively, they've been very conservative with Carson Wentz. They're not really.
And I think that's the right approach with
right.
in year one.
Right. No, I agree. I agree with that. But I think this week that's not going to work out for them. I think this Cowboys team offensively is going to be a lot harder to stop. Like you said, that offensive line really makes that offense go, and especially when they have a running back as good as Ezekiel Elliott. If Dak Prescott can just take care of the football this week, I don't see how Dallas is going to lose this game.
If the Eagles can't force turnovers, Dallas wins, and I don't see that happening for Philly.
Right, and also the Dallas Cowboys defense, I think, has been very, very overlooked. I mean,
absolutely
really well this season. I mean, we saw what they did before the bye in Green Bay. They handled Green Bay's offense.
They made Aaron Rodgers look like Derek Anderson.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that defense this week could give Carson Wentz and the Eagles some problems. I think the Eagles keep this game close. Usually NFC East games end up being close. I think the Eagles do some things well here. Maybe they force a turnover, but at the end of the day, the Cowboys are the more complete team. Give me Dallas at home. Cowboys 27, Eagles 20.
Yeah, and I also think that but also Carson Wentz has yet to have a quality road win. His only road win was against the pathetic Chicago Bears.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So let's go to the final game we're going to talk about in depth, and that is the 3-4 San Diego Chargers coming off that comfort behind win last week in Atlanta. Maybe a season-saving win. and now they go to Denver to take on the 5-2 Broncos, who are coming off an easy win on Monday Night Football against Houston. And these two teams just recently played, remember, and the Chargers did win at home. So who do you got here?
Yeah, and that was a couple weeks ago. I think I alluded to this with the Atlanta game, but when you see a Mike McCoy-led offense, the one we saw in 2012 in Denver with Peyton Manning's first year coming off his neck injury, I think you wanted to see like more of a West Coast style with passing and timely running attacks. When you balance an offense like Phil Rivers has done this season with San Diego, I think you have great opportunities to win ball games, and San Diego has given Denver some fits over the last few years, even though Denver has won the division year in and year out. But I think when in the rematch, I think the game's at Mile High. I think the defending Super Bowl champions are ready, and I think they'll find a way to shut down San Diego's offense. And I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be more of a defensive affair. So give me Denver in this one, in a close one. Denver 14, San Diego 7.
All right. Yeah, and also I think something that's been over that if you go back to their first meeting, didn't Paxton Lynch play that game, or was that?
I think it was. I think it was Paxton Lynch, because I think Simeon was still hurt.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think that was Paxton Lynch's start, and obviously Paxton Lynch is not NFL ready yet, and I think it showed that day.
But he'll be a usable quarterback soon, but just not yet.
Yeah. I mean, that was his first start. It was Thursday Night Football. That was kind of a bad spot to be put in there. And the Chargers took care of business that night. But I think this week's going to be different. The Broncos are home. The way Trevor Siemian has played, I mean, he is what he is. He'll make some throws, but he's also very mistake prone. And
also don't forget C.J. Anderson's now out for the year.
Right, and that's a big loss because he was by far their best running back.
Yeah, and I thought he was a top 10 running back before he got hurt.
Right, yeah, he's out for the year now. But again, the Broncos' saving grace is their defense, and that is still very much one of the best in the league. And that's a big reason why they're 5-2, and I think that's a big reason why they're going to be 6-2 after this game. I think the Chargers hang in this game. I think they keep it close. But at the end of the day, I think the Broncos, even with the quarterback problem, pull out a win at Mile High in a closer game. Give me the Broncos 28, Chargers 24. I think it's going to be more high scoring than you think, John.
And I mean, if San Diego's offense gets its mojo going, it's most certainly going to be closer to your score than my score. So now let's take a look at the rest of our picks for week number 8. I'm looking at my whiteboard to read off the rest of the games. Both of us like Jacksonville going down to Tennessee on Thursday Night Football. Both of us have Washington over Cincinnati. You have a 27-24. I have a 27-13 because the Redskins just lost to the rebuilding since 1957 Detroit Lions. Both of us like the Patriots taking care of the Bills. Both of us like Detroit going down to Houston and falling flat there. But we do have a couple of differences in the early games, Chris. In the rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, you have Arizona coming off the tie against Seattle, going to Carolina and beating Carolina, while I have it otherwise. So you think Arizona finds a way to win, even though the Panthers are coming off their bye week?
Yeah, I mean, when I look at what Arizona did on Sunday night, obviously that was not a great game of football.
You still have to win the game because you're facing Seattle at home. If it was on the road, whatever. But when you have an opportunity to get within a half game of Seattle and change the NFC West race, you gotta win. You can't tie.
It was definitely a big game for the Cardinals, and they couldn't pull out the win there. And I mean, we can get into also the I mean, the overtime rules are a whole nother story. I think those rules.
That deserves its own other video.
Yeah.
So even though we do our videos specifically for NFL picks, so let's take a look at some more games. Both of us like Indianapolis over the Kansas City Chiefs, Chris, and the other team that's on a tie, Seattle. You have New Orleans stunning Seattle. Well, I have it the other way around. We differ on the Tampa Bay Oakland game, where I have the Buccaneers winning while you have the Raiders winning. Oakland's 4-0 on the road, so that may be why. And then we wind up with the Monday night game on Halloween with Minnesota taking care of business against the pathetic Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. And that will do it for this edition of C&J NFL Picks, week number 8. And we hope to enjoy your football. We have 13 good games this week, and then we have 13 more next week. So have a wonderful rest of the week and take care.